what are we doing? You know, like they're dead. They're gone. Hey guys, what's going on? It's your old pal CHH here. This wasn't really a video I was planning on making today, but sometimes you just got to speak your mind on something and just give your opinion out there, and I kind of got to know if I'm not alone, to be honest with you. So right now is a pretty weird time to be a Return of the Living Dead fan. So to catch you up on speed, we saw the teaser trailer for the new Return of the Living Dead film coming from Living Dead Media. I did a trailer reaction, but really I was just talking about the state of everything going on at the time, because it's certainly interesting to say the least, with everything that we've got going on with Return of the Living Dead right now. But we also talked about in that video a little bit of stuff going on with the drama between basically Beverly Randolph and Linnea Quigley, and them doing their fan film, which is interesting considering they were from the original movie, and their battle with the Living Dead media people, and that group making the official Return of the Living Dead, more or less, and how there's some back and forth. There's things about how the guy directing the new Return of the Living Dead movie, who did Kill Her Goats, which we talked all about that, supposedly didn't pay Beverly or any of them for using their likeness, is what she was saying, and nobody really has much faith in it being any good. I'll just say it. Like, some people do, and there's nothing wrong with having blind faith. Sometimes it's an easier way to get through life, and sometimes I just have to look myself in the mirror and be honest and say, yeah, it's probably going to be terrible. But if things couldn't get even more worse, we have reached something that I don't like this. I just don't like this. So if you talk about the original Return of the Living Dead, there's a number of people that are no longer with us. Krueger passed away a few years ago, and he lived to, man, he was in his 90s, and he never quit. He just never stopped living. So God bless Krueger. Obviously, he was, in Return of the Living Dead. He's also the dad in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, which he was great in that. So Clue was amazing. We lost James Caron back in 2018 or 19. I think it was 2018, who also lived to be, he lived a long time. I think he was 80-something, mid to late 80s when he passed away. So he stuck with us for a while. And unfortunately, Don Calfa, I believe, passed away around 2013 or 14. And there's other people. The gentleman who was suicide, I forget his name, the actor. He died very, very young. I think he was like 35. So he was a kid when he died still, basically, which I think he had some sort of cancer. So we've got some people that have passed away. Now, typically when you think about people that passed away, you don't really see them pop up in movies at all in any sense, because I think inherently that's kind of like a wrong thing to do. You can't take people's likeness when they can't consent to it, like they're dead. It's a sticky thing. But I read something today that it just bummed me out, because, I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with fan films, but I'll be open and upfront about it. I don't really care for them. I don't have a problem with them, but it's not my bag. It's not my thing I'm into. Like, I know that there's fan films for, like, there's Black Christmas fan films that are out there. There is obviously the Never Hike Alone fan films. I think there's some Nightmare on Elm Street fan films. More power to the people doing them. It's people that love these genres, and they want to keep them alive, and they want to add to it. And I have no issue with that, but I'm personally not into them. I just don't have much desire to watch that stuff. It's just a personal thing. I'm just not into it. But I have no problem with people doing them. Like, why would I have a problem with it anyway? But this is an interesting situation, because this is a fan film involving the people who were in the movie. And this whole thing is being spearheaded by Linnea Quigley and this director that's attached to the project, that they are doing some sort of GoFundMe to pay for this movie. But it's not GoFundMe, it's another website, which we'll look at. And I read something that I thought was a joke at first, but I read the article, and I'll be honest with you, I was fairly devastated. So let's go to Bloody Disgusting. And mind you guys, I'm using OBS now, no longer StreamYard, so I have to adjust some things. So let me see if I can get this situated. It should not be a problem. All right, here we go. Make sure I get this out the way so you guys can see the article. All right, guys. So let's look at this article from Bloody Disgusting. Whew, here we go. The star of the original the title of this, by the way, from John Squires. Shout out to John Squires. I love Bloody Disgusting, by the way. Trash's Revenge will use CGI to resurrect 2 Return of the Living Dead actors. I read this headline. I thought... So, guys, as a wrestling fan, I admit there's a couple pages I follow that they're... What do you call them? They're parody pages. Like, the headlines are ridiculous, right? And it's like... It's basically... National Enquirer pages where they make over-the-top, silly, headlines when you read them and you realize it's satire. I'm into all that stuff. I remember, I'm a big '80s hair metal fan, and I remember back when this was during Obama's second term. There was a page that I followed. I forgot what it was called, and it was Joe Biden signs this date as National Dockin' Day. And they had a fake quote from Biden at the time saying everybody knows Dockin is a national treasure. But it was fun. I'm into that stuff. I think it's funny, right? I'm into all that stuff. So here I am. I'm on Facebook and I see this and I'm like, this is a joke. And then I see it's Bloody Disgusting. I'm like, well, they're not a parody page. So Trash's Revenge, the headline, will use CGI to resurrect 2 actors of the Return of the Living Dead. Here we go. All right. The star of the original horror comedy classic, The Return of the Living Dead, Scream Queen Linnea Quigley, is carving her own path to a franchise resurrection with the upcoming Trash's Revenge, a brand new meta project that's now funding through Cinebacker. So there you go. Cinebacker is the site. I don't know anything about Cinebacker. I'm assuming it's a GoFundMe that's probably more skewed towards doing stuff for film and filmmaking. Quigley, who played Trash in Dan O'Bannon's classic horror comedy, is reuniting with several other stars and crew members from Return of the Living Dead on Trash's Revenge. Announcing this week that the film's cast will include Beverly Randolph, Tom Matthews, Miguel Nunez, and John Philbin, as well as 2 ROTLD stars who are no longer with us. So, number one, it's cool that they got Beverly and Tom, and they got Miguel, which I don't know why. I just didn't foresee him wanting to be a part of it. But... great. They got Manel and they got John Philbin, as well as 2 ROTLD stars who are no longer with us. Okay, you ready for this, guys? According to Quigley's latest update on... And by the way, before I finish this, there was a teaser trailer that they put out for this, which supposedly this thing is going to be a musical on top of it, which is already another thing. But the teaser trailer was just literally this CGI... Sega Saturn zombie that runs toward the screen and then says Trash's Revenge. So if that tells you anything, what you can expect. According to Quigley's latest update on the Trash's Revenge project, late actors James Karen and Don Calfa will be brought back to the screen with the magic of CGI. James Karen, who played Frank in Return of the Living Dead and also returned for the film's first sequence, passed away in 2018, while Don Calfa played Ernie in the film and passed away in 2016. And Not that it would make it any less painful if it was Clue or anybody. Obviously Clue's not the guy in here, but Don Calfa's Ernie Kaltenbrunner is my favorite character of the movie. My all-time favorite character in the movie. If you ask me what's my favorite character from ROTLD, it's Don Calfa's Ernie Kaltenbrunner. Just the best character. It's hard to imagine a low-budget crowdfunded project such as this having the means to effectively bring actors back to the screen via digital resurrection, as even major studio projects like last year's Alien Romulus have had trouble on that front. Which that's another thing. Now, Fede Alvarez actually came out and said, "Hey, we made that better on the Blu-ray," which I never bought yet. I haven't bought Alien Romulus on home video, but he actually said that they fixed it even more for home video. Which just goes to show that the technology is not that great. There's also the question of whether or not it should even be done in the first place, which has become a hot-button issue in Hollywood in recent years. Stay tuned on this developing story as we learn from it. I'll just read a little bit more. Based on the part of Return of the Living Dead universe, Linnea Quigley's Trash's Revenge is supposed to be a tribute to the passionate fans who have kept the spirit of ROTLD alive. Here's the plot synopsis on the project's donation page. As the saga continues decades after the horrific incident of 1985, Trash, the notorious punk rocker, finds herself trapped in a past where fame has faded. Once a rebellious icon, Trash now embraces the persona of a grotesque Norma Desmond from Sunset Boulevard, attending conventions to sign autographs while her co-stars rise to greater heights. So basically, yeah, it's supposed to be like a musical type thing, from what I understand. But all right, guys. So I guess we can just kind of get into this in a little bit deeper. My thing is, and I'm asking this sincerely, who's asking for this? No, I mean, like, who's actually asking for these kinds of movies, number one, and specifically, I shouldn't say that, not necessarily who's asking for it, because I understand that fan films have a fan base, and people like the idea of fan films, especially if you have people involved with the original movies. So I don't have a problem with that, but my thing is, did they not... There's a few things with this. Like, number one, if I was in this position, if I was in the position I was a part of this, I would be saying, hey, guys, do you think we should reach out to the Kalfa family or the Karen family? And, you know, we probably can't give them any money on top of this for using their deceased family member's likeness. Maybe they have a daughter or even, or just some family member that's immediate that they could reach out to. But number two, I wonder if they asked if it's okay. Like, I would assume so. And if that's the case, then at least they did that. But even so, I just don't think... am I the only one that thinks this is ludicrous? Like, what are we doing? You know, like, they're dead. They're gone. Like, I know it's not done in a way to, you know... I know that the intention isn't bad. But is it right? It's just like Don Kalfa is gone. James Karen, they are no longer with us. They're resting. And I just don't know if it's the right thing to do. It doesn't feel right to me. Like, do you need this for the movie? It's ethical to me. It's just like these people that are legends, and you guys have relationships with them. You knew them. I'm not taking anything away from that. I'm just asking the question: is it right to do? Is it necessary to do? They are gone. They're no longer here. They have left this earth, unfortunately. And I don't know. Like, it right now is a really weird time to be a Return of the Living Dead fan. There's so much I am bracing myself for. So that's just, I needed to talk about this because I need to know if I'm the only one that feels this way, or if you guys also think that this is just a little too much. Let me know what you guys think about this whole thing. I'm gonna leave it there for now. God bless you guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.